Tired of feeling stuck, unseen, or like your body isn't yours anymore? It's time for a reset. Welcome to an Ageless Life, the Midlife Reset Show, where science, movement, and mindset help you feel strong, energized, and like yourself. I'm Devi, a clinical pharmacist, Argentine tango dancer and instructor, and your guide for redefining how women thrive and grow in midlife and beyond. Let's get started. When I was 5, I walked into the pool with my mom. Every kid and every parent just stared. I didn't know why. I wasn't doing anything weird. I wasn't wearing a costume. I wasn't standing on my head. It was just me. My mom leaned down and said something that I will never forget. They're looking at you because you were kissed by the angels before you were born. That kiss, it came in the form of a port wine birthmark that covers about 20% of my body. It covers the entire upper left side in the front and the back starting from my waist up to about my shoulder. It's on the underside of my arm and goes up the back of my neck. It's bold. It's a deep pink purple, and for a long time, it was the thing I wanted to hide the most. As I got older, I began to understand that people don't always respond to being different with wonder. Sometimes they respond with curiosity, sometimes with cruelty, sometimes with that tight-lipped politeness, that polite silence that makes you feel worse. And at the pool, it wasn't just the kids, the parents too. Everyone stared, and I started to shrink. I became Bertha Birthmark, the girl with the birthmark. At school, I wore long-sleeved as often as I could, at least for as much of the winter, as much of the year as weather would allow. I learned that certain fabrics drew attention away from my arm and where my birthmark was to other parts of my body. I became very good at scanning a room to see if it was safe to be seen. There was a boy in high school who gave me the nickname Bertha Birthmark. It was mean. It hurt. It stuck. And he did what he wanted to do. It made me feel strong and wrong and broken. Later in life, I learned this same boy became addicted to meth. He attempted suicide. He survived, but with a traumatic brain injury that left him in a wheelchair. Now, I don't share this to say karma got him. I share it because I understand that he was hurting. And hurting people sometimes hurt other people. He thought making me feel worse would make him feel better, but it never does. That moment stuck with me. It drove me into looking for laser treatments to erase my birthmark. But at the time, the technology wasn't advanced, and I was told it would cause a scar that would be even more visible than what I had. So I stayed marked. Then there was the dance teacher I had. I loved ballet. I was in my 20s, still holding on to the dream of performing. I had a dancer's discipline and a body that could move, but I was told I could never be a dancer, at least not on stage, unless I completely covered my birthmark with heavy makeup. Let's be clear. He wasn't talking about foundation. He was talking about invisibility. The message was loud and clear. You can dance, but only if you disappear. When I was in college, I worked at a grocery store. One day, someone looked at my upper chest area right at the top of where my V-neck shirt was and asked me if I had a hickey. I said, no, it's a birthmark. That was a moment those casual, unthinking humiliations and questions stick with you. Many years later, I was studying tango, And one of my teachers looked at me and said, I think you should paint the rest of your body to match your birthmark and walk in a parade. He was talking about an elaborate design that would complement and actually make my birthmark stand out even more. Can you imagine that? Not to hide it, not to fix it, but to celebrate it. That comment changed me forever. Over time, people stopped commenting on my birthmark as much, or maybe I wasn't noticing it. I wasn't wearing much swimming suits anyway. But then something else started to happen. I would see children. They would reach for it or ask me about it in that wild-eyed child way. And the parents would freeze and be absolutely horrified and pull the child back. But I would smile and I would reach my arm in and say, do you want to touch it? And I would tell them the story that my mother told me. I was kissed by the angels before I was born. And oh, by the way, something else that's really cool about my birthmark, when I get cold, it turns purple. The kids immediately got excited. Now, my birthmark did teach me how to read a room, yes, but it also taught me about empathy. And it gave me radar for being real. It showed me how powerful it is to embrace what you think others want you to hide. It gave me a mission to help women stop hiding, especially in midlife, because many of us are taught if we want to be admired, we have to shrink. And I'm saying, not anymore. We all carry marks. Some you can see, some you can't. But the ones we have been told to hide, or the ones that we hide because we feel safe, those are the ones with the most magic in them. So if you're ever told to shrink, fade, or fix yourself just to belong, this episode is your invitation to stop hiding. Because I didn't just survive the stairs, I danced through them. And now I help other women dance back into their bodies. I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, stay visible, stay radiant, and forever young.
That's it for this reset. Thank you for spending this time with me. If today's episode gave you something to think about, I'd love to have you subscribe so you never miss what's next. And remember to grab your free gift, your midlife superpower, 5 simple power moves to feel like yourself again. The address for this is, or link is, anagelesslife.com/superpower. Thanks again. Bye-bye.